Hello and welcome to Creator Weekly Live for the week ending September 3rd, 2023. I'm Peggy Kay and I'm coming to you live today from the San Francisco Bay Area. I hope everyone is having an excellent weekend here in the US. It's Labor Day weekend, sort of the unofficial end of summer. I can't say I'll miss the hot weather, but it's kind of gloomy out there, so I am missing the sunshine. All right, today there's a lot of updates. First of all, I'm going to talk about the AI updates that Google announced at Google Cloud Live. And this is their annual conference aimed at businesses and enterprise. And so they talk a lot of things that require a paid Google Workspace enterprise account, but there are a lot of AI updates coming to regular consumer users as well. I'm going to talk about an update to how YouTube manages warnings for community guidelines violations. And this is a really great user-friendly, creator-friendly update. There's an update to the AdSense policies. And there are also new AI-related clauses in the terms for Twitter and Meta that you should probably be aware of. So I'm going to try and get through all of that. If you want more detailed information than what I'm talking about today or links, you should check out this week's roundup. There's a link in the description of the video. You can also subscribe to my weekly newsletter and get all this information in your inbox. All right, so first of all, welcome. I see Diego and Craig and Andrew in the live chat. It's great to see you here. Anyone who's seeing this live, please let me know where you're joining from today and what you think of this week's updates. Also, if you have not taken this week's quiz yet, you should do that. It's on the community tab of my channel. It's about generative AI tools in presentation software, so like Google Slides and PowerPoint and so forth. All right. Thank you all for joining me today. I'm going to just dive right in. The very first thing I want to talk about is Google's big announcements at Google Cloud Next about Duet AI. Now, the idea is that it's a duet because you're working together with the AI to create things. So it's kind of a cute name. And one of the things that I wanted to mention at the outset is that all of these announcements were aimed at enterprise customers mostly, and Duet AI is a paid add-on for Google Workspace Enterprise, right? So if you have an organization with Google Workspace, you're going to need to pay extra to access these AI features. That said, there are a lot of these features that are available if you sign up for Workspace Labs. This is available to consumer accounts, so free accounts. Sign up, that's a QR code you can use to join. And it's available in a lot of different countries. But looking at the country list, maybe not the EU. I don't know what's happening there exactly, but if you want to see if it's available for your Google account, go to the Workspace Labs sign-up page. And that will give you access to a bunch of these features that I'm going to talk about. And I will try and differentiate between those features that are for enterprise customers only and that you might actually be able to access. And I'm going to give a really quick demo of some of the features. So what are we talking about here when I say this is available for Workspace? This means that there are AI-related updates for Google's suite of workspace products. That is Google Docs, Gmail, Google Slides, Meet, video calling, Google Chat, and so forth. So it's this whole suite of products. Keeping that in mind, this is what I'm going to show you in my account first. So I'm going to sort of go through what's available right now in my account. There's going to be a lot more than that. Jolyn is saying, I'm using the Workspace Labs already. I like the option for an AI answer when doing a Google search. Yeah, just to mention, there's actually a separate setup for the Google search generative AI experience. So there's two separate things. There's the AI in Google search, and there's the AI in Google Workspace products. You have to be sure to sign up for both if you want both of those options. Now, first I want to mention that I'm going to go through this really quickly. Again, there are links in my newsletter and my post, and just giving you a quick look at how these things work. So first of all, I want to show you how it looks in Google Docs. Now, in Google Docs, the options are to write from, it will write drafts in prompt from your text prompts, or you can summarize. And just to show you what you do, and you have it enabled, there's this Help Me Write button, and you can put it in a prompt, and it has some suggestions to test. Email my mentor asking for career advice. I already have text here, and if you have text already, you can highlight the text, click the magic button, and then ask the AI to change the tone of what you've written to formal, more casual. You can get it to write a summary. You can get it to have bullet points, to elaborate, shorten it, or rephrase it. And then you can use a prompt to add more text. So this is really designed to be a creative tool. Like all AI, anything that might be factual, you need to fact check. So you should use this as general suggestions. And I also wanted to mention that the Duet AI Enterprise Edition is also having an option to use the AI to proofread what you've written. So that's a cool feature that's not available to consumer users. And I'll note that it's possible Google will add some of these things to Workspace Labs in the future. I don't know. But right now, it's not available. And Diego says, I'm using Workspace Labs too. It's been incredibly helpful when writing emails and documents. So that's the other thing I wanted to mention. Just like you can use the AI tools to write a draft in Google Docs, you can also use it to help you compose a Gmail. And of course, when you do that, it's more Gmail appropriate. They also are going to launch an enhanced smart reply. So right now, everybody has smart replies in Gmail. And sometimes those are all you really need. But there'll be an option to basically have a more expanded, customizable smart reply. So these are really tools that are designed to make you more productive. They are not replacing people or human judgment. The next thing I wanted to show you is a really cool tool in Google Slides. Google Slides has integrated image generation. Let me just turn on the screen sharing. This is Google Slides. These are some of the suggested prompts Google has done. Now, if you're in Slides, you can click this Help Me Visualize option, and you get an option over on the side. I'm going to have a prompt that's a realistic puppy in a blue knit cap. It takes about 20 seconds for it to generate the images. So if you have this, it's kind of fun to play with and see what options you're given. You can see I now have some cute puppies. Some of them are kind of funny looking, but then you can do that and add it to your slides. And who doesn't like a cute puppy, right? In Google Slides, it doesn't work to create images with people. That isn't really something it does, so you need to use it for things like objects. If you're giving a presentation and you just want an interesting illustration of a chair or a lake or something like that, it's really easy to do that. And I think, again, this is not meant to replace graphic designers or anything like that. This is going to increase your productivity, at least theoretically. So those are the things I was going to demo today. One of the other products that is having a lot of updates is Google Meet, and I just need to find the correct screen to share that with you. All right, so Google Meet is Google's video meeting platform in terms of what it does with Google Workspace. They are talking about integrating an option to get real-time summaries, and let me turn on the screen sharing. You can get, this is from the announcement, this isn't available yet. You can get a summary of what's happened in the meeting before you were there. And you can get it to take notes for you. It will capture notes, action items, video snippets in real time, and then send a summary to participants. And a new feature that sounds really intriguing, that I don't know how it's going to work, is there is supposed to be an attend for me option. What that actually is going to do, I'm not sure, but the way Google describes it is you can have Duet AI join the meeting for you, deliver your message, and then make sure that you get the recap of the meeting at the end. How this is going to look and whether it's actually a good idea to have an AI go to a meeting in your place isn't clear. I'd love to hear what you guys in the chat think of that idea, because who likes to attend meetings, right? So if you can get an AI to do it for you, that could actually make you more productive, maybe. The other thing I wanted to talk about for Google Meet is a feature that is coming to everyone. And I don't have a demo of this, but you will be able to use generative AI to create backgrounds for your Google Meet meeting. So right now you can add a custom background, you can upload an image or use one provided by Google. With this new feature, you can use generative AI to create a custom background. And that should be available in Workspace Labs. I don't have it yet, so I can't actually demo it for you. The other thing that will be available in Workspace Labs is something called Studio Look, which will improve your video quality if you have low light or not a great webcam. So it uses AI to improve the way your video looks. There will also be studio lighting and studio sound in the future. Enterprise customers are also getting the option to have automatically translated captions in more languages. I think there's a total of 18 different languages. So if you have an international meeting, everybody can get the captions in their own language live. And Eileen says, if we use these tools, we need to give credit right. What about in a personal email? Not sure. I want my friends to know I used AI to craft an email. I think that's a really good question. I think for the text-based things, you don't have to give any credit. It's just a draft. The idea is you should customize it. But then again, I use smart replies in Gmail. I never mention that or edit those. So I don't know. I think it's an open question. The images, I think, are potentially a bigger issue. I don't know what all the licensing is on that. So if you're using anything that generates images, you should be aware that you should maybe not use that commercially or to publish publicly necessarily. I am hoping there will be more information. I haven't done a deep dive in the details yet. So those are Google's big updates for AI. The other big thing that they announced at Google Cloud Next is the new Google Chat. What does that mean exactly? If you're using Google Chat, you're probably familiar with the way it looks. Let me just call up there. Some of the changes are going to be cosmetic, and some of the changes are going to be more substantial. So if you look at Google Chat, this is an image from the announcement. There's going to be an updated user face with Material 3 Design. That's Google's design language. There's a new unified conversation list showing updates to both direct messages and spaces kind of all together. So you can see a list of all the updated messages. There's going to be a new intelligent home view with intelligent prioritization of your messages. It's like an algorithmic feed of your messages. That won't be coming until 2024. And there's also going to be an improved search with a redesigned results page. It's going to have suggestions, autocomplete, and AI-based relevance ranking. So those are all sort of big things about how you're going to interact with Google Chat. The one thing that is launching now to everyone, so both Google Workspace and personal accounts, is smart chips. If you use Google Docs, you're probably familiar with this. You type the @ symbol, and when you type the @ symbol, it's basically a prompt where you can then see a list of documents that you may want to share. Again, this is like an efficiency tool that is going to make it easier for sharing documents in your space or in your chats. So just to take a look at a few of the other things they announced, and I don't know the timing of these things, and I don't know for sure which things will be available to consumer users. The first thing is that there's going to be Duet AI integrated with chat. This is not surprising since it's integrated everywhere. And It will let you chat with the Duet AI. You can get conversation summaries, document summaries, ask questions about the content. So that will be really useful. Another interesting thing that they are going to be launching in a while. Let me just see if I can find the correct image for that. I cannot. Give me just a second here. Google is going to also be adding something called huddles to Google Chat. These are audio first impromptu gatherings powered by Google Meet. So these are like a little tiny window with a Google Meet meeting in it. And the idea is that you can quickly confer with your colleagues in the space. You don't have to launch a whole separate meeting. It'll be right there inside the space. There's a few other updates that are clearly for Google Workspace only. One of the big ones is that you can have Google Chat spaces with up to 500,000 members. This is obviously for very large enterprise organizations. And the idea is you can make it for announcements. In my announcement spaces, you can have it so that other people can't post, just the space managers can post. The other thing to go along with that is that you can see metrics on how many views of a particular message there are. I think the message views is launching to everyone. I also just wanted to note, I found it kind of amusing that in the example, in the announcement, you've got this space with 480,000 members, and the announcement only has 238 views. So just like social media, nobody is looking at your messages. Some other things that are coming are better Google Groups integration. That's for enterprise customers. Google Workspace Business only. Improvements to apps in Chat. Chat has apps that let you interact with third-party services and Google services. So it's going to be easier to manage apps. There's an updated Google Drive app that responds to comments and requests. Google has created third-party apps. There's a whole list of them you can find in the Chat Help Center. New ones are for Workday, Loom, Zoho, and Loom apps. And if you have Google Workspace, you can create no-code custom apps using Duet AI in AppSheet. If you're interested, there's links in my weekly update. There's a link in the video description. There's also going to be an option to use a third-party platform called Mio for messaging interoperability with Slack, Teams, and other messaging platforms. This is in beta for Google Workspace business accounts. The idea is you can have all of your chats all in one space. So those are the big updates for Google Workspace accounts. And I have to say, I'm kind of excited about some of these things. I think Google is making it really clear that these are not a replacement for people. This is instead something that should make it easier for you to do your business and create things. So I'm taking more time than I expected, but I just wanted to cover a few other updates. There's a big update for YouTube, where if you have a community guidelines violation, you get a warning. That isn't new. What's new now is that you can go through policy training and the warning will expire after 90 days. I want to say uh, thank you so much to Chef. I really appreciate that. It works great. I really appreciate the super chat. Thank you for joining me today, and thanks everyone in the chat today. It's a great conversation. So just to mention this update to the warning system, if you get a community guidelines strike, it's strongly recommended that you go through the training, even if you don't think you need it, because what it does is actually give you more leeway to get another warning. Again, if you get a community guidelines warning, you can appeal if you think it's totally wrong. If you was correct, or you appeal and the appeal is not successful, go through the training. And then if you get another community guidelines policy violation for a different policy, within the same 90 days, you'll just get another warning instead of a strike. Now, if you go through the training and you violate that same community guidelines policy again, you will get a strike. It's 3 strikes within 90 days and your channel will be terminated. There is a lot more to it than that. Please see the links for more information. The other policy update I wanted to mention is that the Google Publisher Relations policies, not Publisher Relations, the Google Publisher Restrictions for shocking content have been updated to make exceptions for certain gameplay images. Now, this is policy for your website. YouTube has consistent policies that are slightly different. You should view YouTube's policies if you're monetizing videos. This is for your website. If you use gameplay imagery, there is more of an exception for violent content. It's not a carte blanche. It's not everything, but it does note that it's a little more open. And again, if your website or app, this is for AdMob, AdSense, and Google Ad Manager, if your website or app previously had ad serving restricted due to the shocking content policy and it no longer falls under this policy, you can submit an appeal. Whew. So, a couple quick updates. If you use Meta, this is Facebook and Instagram, they have a new page in their privacy center that talks about what data they use for generative AI. They use your data, of course. And Facebook has a new form you can submit where you can say that you want to download or correct personal information from third parties used for generative AI, or you want to delete personal information from third parties used for generative AI. Check out this form if you're concerned about your data. And finally, Twitter has an updated privacy policy. I think that goes into effect September 29th. You should review it. There's several new things, including terms relating to their new job search options. But I wanted to point out that now there is a section in where it says, we may use the information we collect from accounts of other services that you can choose to connect your X account to provide features like cross-posting or cross-service authentication and to operate their services. And importantly, we may use the information we collect and publicly available information to help train our machine learning or artificial intelligence models for the purposes outlined in this policy. Now, this is a little bit of a concern because the purposes outlined in the policy are pretty broad. And who knows, there may be an XAI. I think Elon Musk actually has started an AI company. So if you are concerned about your data being used for an AI, be sure to read all these terms very carefully, opt out when you can. Right, that was a lot today. Thank you for being here. A quick question from GeoJJ, how to create Studio Content Manager account again. This is for YouTube. Regular YouTube users have access to Creator Studio. If you want the higher level access, this is something you should talk about with your partner manager. If you don't have a partner manager, you're probably not eligible for the additional controls. Thank you all for joining me today. I hope you join me next week. Have a great week.